Hey everybody, welcome to the Outer Rim Rookie, a beginner's journey to join the 501st and Rebel Legion. My name is Rob Williams. Today I am replacing a piece of my armor that's been needing replacing for quite a while now, and that is my belt. This belt has seen some days. It is also upside down. This has seen a lot of troops, close to 50 troops now, and it's pretty beat up. It's one of those things that probably gets the most wear and tear next to my boots. There are many cracks in this piece. Some of the cracks happened when I was even helping out with the filming of Bucketheads. You'll probably see me in one of the scenes running like crazy trying to warn the other troops here. It cracked quite a bit, and so we started taping it up. But my co-host Steve 3 also noticed something that I never thought about. How you put on and how you take off your armor actually has a major effect on the armor itself. He noticed as I take my belt off, I kind of peel it off, when in fact I should be pulling it off like that as one piece, because if I peel it off, it starts to add stress in between the boxes. He was bang on. That's what happened. Especially when I had Velcro on the inside. The Velcro was there to help keep the belt up. I had lost a bit of weight when I had first started this whole process to when I finished, and which is I guess a good thing, but it started to sag every time I put it on, and it wasn't looking great. And I noticed that my first few troops, my belt was sagging. So I Velcroed it, and now it stays up. In fact, I even took it in a little bit here, as you can see. It just got beat up over time, and I want to make sure I look good in Fan Expo in a couple months in February in Vancouver. So I thought it's time to get a new belt and retire this one. This is a Studio Creations belt. It's done well over the last few years. I have no complaints whatsoever, but I decided I want to save a little bit of money and I want to try a different belt. So instead of Studio Creations, I got this. This one here, this is a Walt Trooper Factory belt, WTF. Walt's Trooper Factory is one of the more recognizable brands out there as well. Studio Creations one, Walt Trooper Factory, Altman, there's a whole bunch of different brands out there. Walt's Trooper Factory is a little less expensive. A lot of people find it reliable. In fact, people who wore it on the set of Mandalorian had a Walt's Trooper Factory. Not everybody did. There was Walt's Trooper Factory armor on the set of Mandalorian. It's good enough for the real stuff. Let's give it a shot. There are some interesting things I noticed when it came in though, comparing it to the Studio Creations. And so this is going to be a kind of a compare and contrast as well as a how to build a belt. So let's take a look at the difference between Studio Creations and Walt's Trooper Factory. First of all, Studio Creations, you'll notice, has a bigger buckle. The buckle is actually an inch bigger than Walt's Trooper Factory. However, the boxes, Walt's Trooper Factory is an inch bigger. So it's an inch smaller on the buckle, but an inch bigger on the box. And another interesting fact here, if you can see the spaces in between the boxes. I measured it with I was just using fingers, and this is about 2 fingers width. Studio Creations is 1 finger width in between each box. That's a big difference. This is much longer than my Studio Creations belt. And that's a big deal when I'm trying to measure around the body and make sure that it all fits nice and neat. One of the major things I don't want to do is lose the webbing. I want to keep this webbing and keep all the buckles that I have made in the past here. I want to keep all this because it's done me well. It's still strong, still sturdy, still looks good. But it's obviously longer since the belt, ABS belt, is shorter. But that's just one of the factors I have to look into. The other factor are the boxes, the hip boxes. The hip boxes, again, Studio Creations, is built in a way, it's measured in a way to rest at a certain space on my hip. If Walt's Trooper Factory belt is different lengths, it's going to have an effect on the boxes. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because there are some risks when buying armor that isn't the same brand as the armor you've had before. You have to look at all the little factors. The length of these straps that I have for my boxes may have an effect on how it fits with the new belt. Like I said, there are many different factors that go into building this belt. And it's not just a simple pull it out, replace it with a new one. It would have been easier if I had bought Studio Creations, but I kind of focused on economics rather than compatibility because I wasn't thinking about compatibility. Something I learned. So this is going to be a good little test. But it also taught me one major thing. My chest piece needs to be replaced as well. There's cracks happening right in between the chest here. So about 20 minutes ago, I bought myself a Studio Creations chess piece like the one I have. I wasn't going to mix and match on that one. I learned a lesson already. I will pay a little bit extra. It's not that much really. I shouldn't have been so cheap on this case. Truly feel I'm going to be happy with this. But it is going to be a little more complicated than I expected. One last thing that I noticed here is this area right here. That's where the strap comes. This is a lot more shallow than Studio Creations. So I'm going to have to really take notice of that when I start putting some holes in here. There's a lot of work that's going to need to be done. I'm going to have to put holes here and here. Obviously, I'm going to have to cut a lot of this off here and down below. I'm going to have about 3/4 of an inch from the box to the edge. One rivet hole, not two like I screwed up last time. And I'm probably gonna have to put some Velcro in here as well, just to have it stick to my costume. Also, I'm probably gonna have to heat gun this. This is obviously very stiff. One thing about Walt Stripper Factory, the plastic is a lot thicker. It's very sturdy and thick, and I kind of like that. For a guy who's a little hard on his costume, this might be a good thing. But I'm gonna have to heat gun this and mold it into place here because I don't want to crack it. Heat gun's gonna be my friend on this one. It's time to build the belt. Let's get to it. But first, let's take a look at the CRL. All right, here we go.
Just a quick recap of what the CRL, or the Costume Reference Library, is. It's just a reference of what every costume should look like. It has the fine details of measurements, style, color, and everything else that you need to know. Here's what you need to know about the belt. The belt must be gloss white or semi-gloss and maybe lightly weathered. I'm just going to keep it clean for this one. The front and the 4 boxes of the belt must be made of plastic, no problem there. The remainder of the belt that fastens to the back of the waist is made from webbing material, again, already done, and there are only 2 visible rivets in the belt, which is a mistake I made the first time. There's some other items such as the hip boxes and the parachute buckles, but all that has already been set up. I'm just focusing on the plastic belt itself. There are some optional choices you can do as well if you want to get to a higher level of certification, but the basic ones at the top in black should get you approved if done correctly.
Well, it's pretty hard to work when I have the Christmas fort up. Blanket forts are so cool. Sorry, Scott. Gotta take this down. All right, let's get to it. One thing I noticed when laying out the lines for the belt is that it is quite uneven. It's not a straight line from right across the top. It's actually, this is a millimeter, if half a millimeter higher than this. I know it sounds like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal when you're measuring. And it's not, I don't know if you can see that. This is not the curvature of the camera. This is actually, it's not at a 180. It's so, like a degree or 2 different on the angle, which makes a difference when measuring this out because I can't line it up from here down. I have to line it up with the last box. So it is not fully 180 and it is not fully aligned. When you bend it, I think it will hide, and maybe that's why it's like that. I'm not very familiar with the construction of these things, so I'm going to put some faith in it because when I curve it, it probably won't be as noticeable. But it is noticeable just looking at this, that it is not 180. All right, let's get ready to cut. All right, we've cut it down. Now, obviously, it's not perfect. You can see right there are some imperfections, but that's where we sand and smooth and kind of make it all nice. Also have to cut the edges off a bit here too. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Let's take a look at the other side here. Yeah, you can totally see the imperfections, but again, that's what sanding's for. We just had to get that strip off. I'm going to say this again like I did last time. It's not, the fact that this is not perfectly aligned
I can see bothering some people. So you can see it right here as it kind of swoops up top and swoops down. There's nothing I could have done there. I tried to use a straight edge and it's a touch higher. This will bother some people, I think, but you know, it's so small that it won't bother me too much. For me, it's got to be durable and look decent. And so far, you're looking pretty decent. All right, let's smooth the edges, please. Ew, get rid of that. Oh well, got a hangnail.
So I'm using a hand file for this. I do have like an electric sander or a Dremel to help me sand, but I don't trust myself enough with it. So I don't mind taking the time to smooth it by hand here. It will take a lot longer, but again, I don't trust myself. I don't want to ruin this. So just take your time. I'm one with the force. All right, let's keep going. All right, next up, I'm going to heat the joints in between each box and just give it a nice little curve. My goal is to shape it about the same sort of curvature as this one, so just kind of heat it up, bend a little, heat it up, bend a little. Let's give it a shot here. And that's good. There you go. Not bad. Nice curve to it. It's better than what it was. What's next? Well, I got to put some holes in here and in here. I got to cut some of this extra stuff off and rivet once in the middle there and once in the middle there. According to the CRL, there's only supposed to be 2 visible rivets. One in the middle, one in the middle. And I also have to remeasure the strap that will attach to this because this is longer. You can see there's quite a difference if I line up those 2 boxes. There's already quite a difference. You can see a difference in color too, eh? This is a little off-white. This is pretty bright white. Definitely longer. It's definitely a longer belt. I'm gonna have to remeasure things here. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so one of the issues I'm having right now is the space here is not 1.5 inches. It's actually just a little under 1.5 inches. Standard webbing for the drop boxes or hip boxes should be 1.5 inches wide. It doesn't fit. So now I'm having to stuff it in there and trying to gain every last millimeter to get this inside. So we'll kind of work this through a bit. All right, I got it in. Had to keep opening up a hole bigger and bigger, but it's in there. So all I gotta do now is put some Velcro right here, secure it, and it's good to go. Not bad, not bad, looking good. All right, let's see how it fits. Can I suggest one thing? You may already know this, but just in case, always kind of write your lefts and your rights on your stuff. It's very handy because in the heat of battle, you seem to forget these things, and I am one of those forgetful people. So writing a left and right on these boxes and the belt is very useful. It's not a bad idea. Okay, there's the cummerbund. Let's give it a shot here. Now, I still have to add some Velcro to keep it from moving up and down, but I'm more focused on the hip boxes, making sure that they're, you see, it's a little high. This is a little high. I need to lower it down a bit. It needs to go about around there. Let's adjust that. Fortunately, I have enough Velcro here to let loose a little bit. So that's good news. That's good news. Let's go. Okay. I think that's better. Yeah, so got some space there. That works. Awesome. All right, let's put on the costume all together and see how it looks. Now, I do notice how white it is. It's very white, but it's still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty good. So not bad. I'm really happy. I'm just like super happy about my belt. I again do a little bit of Velcro just so it sticks, but man, I did this. I was able to put this together, and you know what? It's just makes you feel real good right in here. Oh man, so happy about this. So what do I think about the belt itself? I like it. It's gonna take a little bit of time to get used to. It is a little bit off color, which goes back to one of the lessons I talked about at the beginning. If you're going to replace parts of a kit, try to get the parts from that same kit if you can. I don't know if this is gonna be a big deal or not that it's a slightly different color. We'll see how it goes. So far, it's working out well. Let's put it through a few troops and see how it holds up. Overall, Walt Factory's belt. The plastic's thicker. It is a little bit off on alignment. It was less expensive than Studio Creations. It's got a bit of a different design slightly, but some people don't notice that sort of thing. Like I said, let's give it a shot and see how it stands up to hopefully 50 troops. Old one made 48, 47, 46. There you go. I hope you learned something from this quick little belt build. I am the epitome of if I can do it, you can do it. Really, you can. You can totally do this. And before we go, I just want to give a huge shout out to my co-host on the Generation X podcast, Jamie Palerider, as well as his partner, Christine, who made me these wonderful little scented sprays here. He gave me two. One is called the Tree Hugger. It smells like pine. That's for my Scout Trooper costume. And he also gave me one called the Rogue. This is for Nia Nunn. It smells of cedarwood, leather, and musk. There you go. Nothing like a little solaced musk to go with your costume. It actually smells really, really good. I love the smell of these. So thank you so much. It's always good to spray it down to get rid of all the odors. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Help me get to 300 now. Appreciate it. Got to 200. Let's get to 300. And I hope you learned something. We'll see you later. Bye. Pine.